Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another book review from me, your host, Logan Albright. For my vacation this year, I'm going to Iceland. Never been to Iceland before. I'm very excited. I'm going in the fall, and I'm going with some friends of mine. My oldest and best friend, Allison Parker, and me, who has been on the channel before, and I've been on her channel. We are going to Iceland, and it's going to be awesome, and I'm really excited about it. And so to get myself in the mood for Iceland, we thought we would read some Icelandic literature. Now, I use literature in a little bit of a loose sense there, but an Icelandic book from the last decade or so. And Allison pointed out to me this book called I Remember You by Ursa Sigurdardóttir. Apologies for the bad Icelandic pronunciation. You know, I've been looking to try to learn a little Icelandic before I go over there, and I can't find any good resources. It's not on Duolingo, which is what I use for most of my language learning, but you know, I haven't been able to find a good resource for it. So my Icelandic pronunciation is not so good. Apologies for that. But this is a 2012 supernatural crime thriller, winner of the Icelandic Crime Fiction Award, and I read that this week. Now, I'm not normally a crime fiction reader. It's not my genre. I like classics. I like dramas. I like fantasy. I like science fiction. And I like horror, but horror is a different genre than like crime thriller. And I found that they appeal to a different demographic. They appeal to a different audience. So it's not really my genre, but it was a fairly quick read and I enjoyed reading it. The plot, very briefly, I won't spoil anything, is there's two sections to the book. It alternates chapters. The first section is three people, a married couple and their friend Liv, who is recently widowed, are going to this remote village, abandoned village in Iceland, and they are trying to renovate this house that they bought. And it's a very spooky, old, kind of falling apart, dilapidated house. And they start seeing and hearing strange things, and they think that they are being haunted. And then in the alternate chapters, there's a story involving a forensic psychiatrist who is investigating this break-in and vandalism of a school, and he has recently lost his, or a couple of years ago, I guess, lost his son. And he's dealing with the trauma of that and trying to figure out what's going on. And these stories will eventually connect and have something to do with each other, although it's not apparent in the beginning that they are related in any way. Now, I find the alternating between two stories, chapter by chapter, it's starting to get a little stale for me. I see it so often, especially in more recent books. It's starting to feel like a little bit of a cliche. So, you know, it's so formulaic to do that. It's like we have two stories, we alternate between the chapters, and we combine them at the end. It's just done so often. I wish people would come up with a different device, because I'm getting kind of tired of that. But the premise was interesting. I love supernatural stuff, and I like the setting of Iceland. It's a very romantic and beautiful setting, so I enjoyed dipping into that. The story was interesting from the beginning. I found it flagged a little bit in the middle, and it started to drag. I started to lose a little bit of interest in the middle, and then I found that it really picked up and got exciting towards the end. So I did enjoy the ending. I will say that the resolution of the mystery, such as it is, I found a little bit convoluted. It's mostly satisfying, but it's not 100% satisfying. There's still a few unanswered questions, and it feels like the author was trying really hard to kind of come up with a clever, you know, mystery that the reader wouldn't be able to figure out. And it feels a little bit tortured in that sense, I think. My other issue with the book is a lot of the characters are very unsympathetic, and I have a hard time empathizing with them and caring what happens to them. So I don't have too much more to say about it, really. It's a fairly bog standard boilerplate crime thriller with the added supernatural element to it. It works mostly. It does get exciting towards the end. But I've read better books, and I've read more exciting books, and I've read books with characters that I like a bit more. So as a little piece of like kind of light entertainment, it's fine and it's enjoyable enough, but as a great work of literature, it doesn't really hold up to me in that sense. And it's, you know, I'm acknowledging my own biases here, that this is just not the kind of book that really attracts me in the first place. So I didn't love it, but I did have fun reading it. It's nice to take a break, because I've been reading a lot of like really heavy critically acclaimed Booker Prize winner books lately, and things that are kind of slow to get through and a little bit more detailed. And it's sort of nice to take a break from that and have something that's a little bit more lightweight and a little bit more easy to digest, and that I can get through in just a couple days. That's always nice, because I do try to read a book a week for this channel, and sometimes it's hard to do that. If I'm reading a denser, longer, heavier book, I spread it out over multiple weeks, and then I need to have something to fill the gap. And to fill the gap, it's nice to have things that I can read in just a couple days. And I remember review in like 3 days. So you can get through it quickly if you like supernatural thrillers, if you like crime thrillers, if you like Nordic things. I feel like there's a whole genre of like Scandinavian, and I know Iceland's not really part of Scandinavia, I guess, but there's a whole part of, like Scandinavian, Nordic thrillers, crime dramas. There's a lot of television shows based on that. So if you like that sort of thing, you might enjoy it. It did win an award, so you always have to point that out. But not really my thing, and I doubt I'll be returning to this genre or this author anytime soon. That's what I have to say about that. I will be back next week with another book review, something a little bit different. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. If you know about this author or any other Icelandic fiction that I should check out to help me prepare for my trip, please leave it in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this review, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, and come back every week for another book review, because I'm always reading and I'm always talking about the books I read. That's all I've got for today. I've been your host, Logan Albright. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.